We're in like, I think we're in a recording booth. Okay, yeah.
For your next trial, you must expose the birds.
You know the birds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Birds.
Cool. Okay. Cool. Awesome.
Hi, you're listening to NPR. This is Daniel Huber. Today we have a very wonderful guest, author of the book 12 Days of Christmas, The Truth of the 12 Birds, co-authored by John Bolton. We have 12 Days of Christmas expert here, Alec Wilby. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Now, let's just get right into it. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me the very famous lines, "A partridge in a pear tree."
Yes.
Now, what is the significance of that?
The significance of a partridge in a pear tree is that the pear tree is where the partridge's nest lives, and the partridge famously migrates south during times of coldness and like hardship as well. And much like love, it always comes back, even though it may wane or sort of fluctuate in its presence. But the love is always there. Its nest is still always at the home of this lover.
Now, then we get on the second day, 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. Now, just for clarification, do each of these gifts stack? Do we now have 2 turtle doves and 2 partridges and 2 pear trees?
Yes, and I think the pear trees is a good note as well, because a lot of people seem to forget that in their count, that along with all these birds, he's also giving a pear tree with each of these days.
Now, going into the second day of Christmas, 2 turtle doves. Mm-hmm. Why so?
Doves are famously known for their symbolism of love. They are released at weddings during these modern days, and also they mate for life. So having these 2 paired doves mating for life each time are sort of a symbolism of their love together and how they are together for life, and compounding on the partridge, which always comes back.
So now we're on the third day, 3 French hens. Now, This is an interesting line, because this is the one where we have specifically a nationality.
Yes.
Why French hens?
So during this time in England, France was sort of this cultural hub for culinary foods and especially exporting poultry. So this French hen is going to be a little bit more expensive than the normal English hen, and also will probably provide a little bit more as well. It's about the eggs that the hen lays, and also eventually when the hen dies, you can kill and eat that as well. Sort of this providing gift of love.
So now we are on the 4th day. Very exciting. 4 calling birds.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people are familiar with the fact that calling birds is referring to a songbird, but why don't they just say songbird?
During this time, what we now classify as the Eurasian songbird was originally called the Eurasian calling bird. So just a little bit of semantics, as when this was written, it was a different species name. But this songbird is important because it's sort of a serenade to the lover, as well as all these other birds.
So now we are on a very, what a lot of people remember of the song, the famous 5 golden rings,
Yeah.
Yes. Now, you go and you spend a whole chapter in your book, and John's book as well, in this book, defunking the myth of that 5 golden rings is indeed not actual rings. It is more birds. Would you like to explain?
Yeah, in the book we go in a lot more detail, but the short of it is that these 5 golden rings actually refer to the golden-ringed pheasant, which is a species of bird with this distinct gold ring around its neck, which would have been this sort of symbol of high class, as these colorful and more rare birds were often worth more. So this is sort of the, at the time, equivalent of giving like a fancier pet to your lover.
Just to reiterate, we are at the we're now at the 6th day, and so far we have been given 5 gold rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. But again, those are set exponentially according to the days. But now we're on the 6th day. 6 geese a laying. This one's interesting in that this is the first verse that specifies in action. Geese a laying. Why is that?
Yes, and a lot of people think that these geese are like laying eggs or are laying down, but in reality, this is another culinary gift. Very popular at this time is foie gras, coming from France, in which a goose is overfed to get a fatty liver. And since this goose is overfed, it's a lot less active, and sometimes they're even made to lay down, kind of caged in that position, so that they couldn't burn any of that fat. And that is what the geese of laying is referenced to.
Interesting. Now we are in another verb with the birds. 7 swans a swimming. Now, explain to us a little bit more. How are these swans swimming in December?
So, of course, part of this, actually a very multifaceted verse, and there's a lot of explanation to go into it. So the first part, of course, is that this man has implied to have dug this pond for his woman and filled it with these gifts for her. And these swans are sort of symbolic of her beauty, and the number 7 of them is important because of the 7 heavenly virtues, the 7 trumpets of God. And this is sort of saying that her beauty is heavenly, and he is willing to go through this physical labor to sort of celebrate it.
Now we're on the 8th day. This is a very big deal here, the 8th day, because this is the first day that we have more of a personification instead of a bird. 8 maids a milking. Is that similar to the golden rings in that it's still a bird, but many people think it's not?
Yeah, so at a more modern time of England, it was rewritten, the song, to sort of more put emphasis on the modern day values, which were servants at this time, because it was considered more classy to have someone else do your things for you. As when the song was written, it was more classy to have these sort of exotic pets. But this is in reference to a magpie, which has a milky white sort of breasted area. And there's another songbird adding to this chorus of songbirds for her to sort of serenade again.
And now we're on the 9th day. Continuing on with the personification, 9 ladies dancing. What bird could that even be?
This is actually about the snipe, I believe the Eurasian snipe. And this is about how they dance in the sky as sort of a courtship dance, much like the birds of paradise in their ground dances. These birds dance in the sky doing rolls and flips and even dives at some point to sort of impress the females of this species.
And now we're on the 10th day. Big deal for many. 10 lords of leaping. Now, I do have a question here from a viewer who has read your book and really did enjoy it. Now, is the 10 lords of leaping a reference to religion?
We go into more context about why and how it was changed, but the original line is actually cocks of crowing. But with Lords of Leaping, I don't believe that there's any religious connotation. I do think this is just supposed to be another reference to the ladies dancing in the earlier verse. But that being said, the cocks of crowing, which was the original line, is a tie-in to the French hens, sort of, again, giving that gift of giving and production to his loved one.
We are at the 11th day, continuing on. 11 pipers piping. Is that in relation to the 9 ladies dancing?
No, actually. This is, well, that verse might be, but the bird itself is in reference to a lapwing, which is another songbird, and specifically an aquatic songbird. So it would be in the same pond with the swans and such, specifically singing in that area. So this is more a serenade to her beauty than just a serenade to her.
And now we are on the grand finale, the 12th day. Just to get clarification on everything. Each of the days symbolizes an aspect of love. We have a partridge in a pear tree, being I'm giving you love. Two turtle doves,
Symbolicking that strength of the love.
the union. French hens, that is providing food. 4 calling birds, that is making a song. 5 golden rings, that is in similar aspect to the calling birds, and that it is still a union.
That is the the golden ringed pheasants. That is more about the class of it all.
The class of, oh, my apologies. Swans are swimming, that is an aspect of, that is referring to the beauty of a lover. Maids of milking, and ladies dancing, that's where everything gets a little more personal and close. That's when things start building up. And then we have 10 lords of leaping and pipers piping, in relation to more of songs being made.
More songs, and then they're going to tie into those other hens with the cocks of crowing being the original verse.
Right. Now, 12 days, the 12 drummers drumming. Is that also in relation to the pipers piping?
I don't believe so. I believe it actually is a tie-in back to the 7 swans, of having that sort of religious connotation of the 12 seals being the symbolic of the Book of Revelations, saying that it will kind of take the apocalypse to be able to take you away from me, or to end my love for you. And then, of course, cuckoos as well, which is what the original reference is very symbolic as well, as it's a bird that lays eggs in another nest, sort of bringing its love and its products of its love into another home, as this man is bringing himself and his love into this woman's home.
All right, wonderful. Alec Willoughby and John Bolton's book is distributed worldwide. Thank you again.
This has destroyed my life. Thank you for having me.
All right, you too.